Welcome to Gray Matters, episode one. Today we're going to dive into the emotional and kind of stressful side of the big move. Moving can be one of the most stressful things aside from, death, taxes, and marriage for a lot of people. And, today I've brought in an old friend of mine who is an expert in the field of stress and how to deal with it. My friend Hannah Longley, who is a social worker up in Maine. First off, Hannah, thanks for joining. We go way back, back probably, God, I think to date ourselves almost 20 years now.
More
Back,
than that, actually,
yeah,
we're really
we'll stop
my
at 20.
oldest. I was thinking about it at school drop off, driving home from that. My oldest is the same age as when we became friends.
That's,
So,
that's amazing. Like, wow, good Lord. Yes. Yeah. Hey, anywho, but that's fun, but good to see you again. It's been far too long. So, first off, kind of want to just dive in a little bit. Have you kind of give a background on how you got into the field, why you got into the field, and then kind of maybe just some details on what the difference is on social work versus some of the other mental health professional fields, so people can get a better idea for what you do on a day-to-day basis.
yeah. So I have my master's in social work, and I'm actually a licensed clinical social worker, which meant that I went to school for a few years after college for my graduate program. And then I had to take one class, one test and pass it, then have 2 years of supervision and then take another test and pass it. So it's a pretty stringent process to become a clinical social worker. It takes some time. Um, but I got into it because I always joke I'm a child of the 80s where, eat your dinner because there's starving children in Africa. We had an unhoused Vietnam veteran in our community, and I would always question who's helping them. And in those, starving children in Africa and the unhoused veteran and then other issues, my parents always told me there was someone whose job it was to do it. And so I started looking into that. And I joked briefly when I was about 8, I decided I wanted to be a nun, but then middle school hit. And so instead, I decided to be a social worker, which I actually went to graduate school alongside a lot of them. But it's just basically looking at how do you support someone in their community. I am able and I do therapy for individuals. I am a member of the International Critical Incident Stress Foundation. So I do a lot of critical response to traumatic events. I also always go back to I'm a good Maine girl, and Frances Perkins, who was the first female appointed to the cabinet. The Perkins homestead is still here. You can go visit it. But she was a trained social worker. She trained as a social worker. And so I always say we can do individual work, but then we also get to do so much awesome system work. I've been a lobbyist. I've helped to write policy and really look at the systems, and then also go all the way down to help someone one-on-one. So it's a whole bunch of stuff.
Awesome. That's great. Yeah, no, it definitely seems like you kind of have to have a knack for wanting to help people out and, kind of understand that side of people. Something yeah, probably couldn't do myself, but
Well,
to
the way
some
I
degree.
would look at it, we all help people in the way that our nature and that our temperament and our personality fits. And so you do help people just in a different way,
Touche.
in a way that I
Um,
may not have patience for.
yeah, I tell you, my former history in the alcohol industry, you would, yeah, I could tell you stories about that, but we don't have enough time today. So,
Yeah.